It's the ER crew in the building.
You are tuned into the ER crew with Flu Season.
What up? It's the boy Flu Season. I'm here with my guy Del Cover.
That's me.
There's a lot of things going on, especially with the coronavirus. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to start with Beaumont because, that's where I live at. Beaumont, Texas, confirmed their first coronavirus case. According to the release, the person in Beaumont is a Beaumont resident. She's a woman and she's quarantined herself, and they do not want to release her name at the time. The individual was not sick enough to be hospitalized, but experts say that because she's a young person that they expect to have a speedy recovery. What do you think about this corona stuff going on, Def?
It's crazy. Well, first thing, and one of the biggest things is that the fact that they don't have enough tests to test everyone. So that's one of the biggest things. And how is it that the NBA are being able to be tested? Would she be able to be tested like that? So that's one of my biggest issues is like, how are we going to be able to get tested with no one having symptoms? So,
well, they got tests coming out. I think we just dropped the ball as far as the time of testing. Like in Houston, they had tests. Obviously, Beaumont is an hour away from Houston. People thought that cases will come out and stuff like that, but eventually it did come out, which we known. Down right now at this particular time, you cannot gather more than 10 people. So as far as restaurants and stuff like that, you cannot even sit down and eat. You have to take your food to go. I knew something was going to happen. Right. We don't know to the capacity. It is definitely a scary time. I don't want to say that the president dropped the ball, but it kind of feels like he did drop the ball because he knew about it early enough, and it kind of reminds me of the Ebola crisis.
I mean, the president even calling it a Chinese virus, the China virus. I mean, how else we going to do it? That if that's not an implication of where we kind of headed with this whole situation and him trying to be reelected, I don't know if that's the best idea just to call it the China virus. So.
Well, it's the coronavirus, so let's be clear. I know that's what he said, but it is the coronavirus. This is a virus that has been going around for years, but this is a different strand of the virus. So as far as contact, it seemed like it's spreading pretty rapidly. Channel 12 News, they talked a little bit about the situation, and we're going to drop a little news clipping about what they said, doctors say about as far as how to not catch the virus.
To our 12 News Town Hall, facts, not fear, as we confront this coronavirus crisis. Let's get straight to your questions. Millie and Winnie sent in this question. Wants to know how the coronavirus spreads. Doctor, you or Sherry want to take that?
So, obviously it spreads person to person, correct? Which is, first and foremost, wash your hands, right? Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And the best and simplest way is just hot water and soap for 20 seconds. And if you don't have hot water and soap, then those Germ-X type products. And constantly be washing your hands. Constantly be wiping down surfaces that you're touching. I mean, your iPhone is probably one of the dirtiest things, or your Android that we carry around. Your channel changer, your doorknobs. So it's spread by aerosol, meaning sneezing, coughing. So the best thing is social distancing, like we're talking about.
Yeah, so basically they said a lot of washing hands. I'm not sure if washing hands is going to stop the virus because people are still getting that mug. You got to do a little bit more than that. You got to be very mindful. They also said that it's not a young virus, I believe. Yeah, young people might get over it. I know people with pre-existing conditions are more susceptible. What's the word?
Susceptible.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. that big word right there. You know what I mean? To the virus. But at the same time, I really think anybody can get it. They said somebody in Italy was 30 years old, healthy person, and end up being in the hospital of the virus. So it doesn't matter how old you are. If you catch it, you have to really be careful, but you also have to be mindful of spreading the virus because you might be somebody that has the virus.
Or asymptomatic at that case. So.
And you're passing it on and not even knowing. So right now we talking about social distancing. We really need to do that and lock down and be away. Like right now I'm 6 feet away from your dad. You know what I mean? At least I believe I am.
Right.
Am I 6 feet?
Right.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, cool. But basically they wiped down this table before I got in here. And you see my hand sanitizer? When I leave, I will be using this, okay? I'm not a sponsor, but I will be rocking with this,
I think the problem is we've both been using that, so how's that going to do? I mean, we've both been using it. So, I mean, after the fact, you got to close the cap, right? So, hey, you just been reinfected.
Goddamn. Let me do.
So you just going to use it right now? All right.
All right, there's a coronavirus live update. Senate approved the relief package to provide paid sick leave and other benefits to people. And this is what they had to say about the situation right here.
Stimulus bill that came out of the House. Want to go to Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. And to be clear, this is not the so-called phase 3 of trillion-dollar stimulus we've been talking about so much the last few days. This is the one that we almost forgot about that came before that, right?
That's right. This is phase 2. The vote was 90-8, and now the House and Senate have aligned on that bill that the House approved in the wee hours of Saturday morning. But that underscores the challenge that faces Democrats and Republicans in the Senate as they try to put together phase 3. The fact that it took from Saturday morning until Wednesday afternoon just to get that through, and that was supposed to be the easy bill, that tells you a lot as they try to work on phase 3. There's a lot of concern about the cost of phase 3. Here's Republican South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham.
I'm worried about the price tag. You pay now or you pay later. If we don't contain this virus, the entire economy is going to collapse.
There's disagreement from senators on both sides of the aisle about direct payments to citizens. Not all of the more than $1 trillion is new money. Much of it is tax breaks. But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is concerned about how much money people will get if they're off the job.
It's really getting serious out there as far as like the NBA. They shut down. They said at least for 30 days. We just found out 4 Nets players have the coronavirus, including Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, he was out with Drake recently. Actually, I think the day before, the day after the game was supposed to happen, they was in L.A.
Drake is self-quarantining
that game got
at
canceled. He was walking with Drake at a venue, and he's one of the people that actually got the virus. Drake took to his Instagram, and he said, "This is my life for a couple of weeks now."
Right.
He's showing his mansion off and basically saying he's self-quarantining himself at the particular time. I heard Steph Curry had it, even though they said he doesn't have it. Obviously, Rudy, he was the first person that came out, and he was playing about the situation, like, trying to touch everything and then end up having it. What do you think this is going to affect people as far as, because we can't even enjoy a great basketball game at the particular time, and it was really getting intense because this was the second half of the season.
I think the biggest thing right now is just the self-quarantine. So if we don't have basketball, what are we really going to do during this time? Just live your life right now at this point, because it
How
seems
you going
like
to live your life? You got 4 walls. You can't go nowhere.
That's tough, man. Look like we're gonna be doing prison workouts. That's what it seems like it's gonna be doing. Push-ups, sit-ups. You know what I'm saying? Going with that situation, doing what you can do. I mean, at this point right now, it just seems like we're going on a super lockdown. I mean, here recently, and here in Atlanta, is South Fulton County just announced that they're going on a curfew. No people are allowed to get out after 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. So what are we going to do at this point? You just only can live one life. So you're here to be put on earth to die, essentially. Hate to go that route, but with a curfew and restrictions, what else are we to do but to live? Try to do what we can do, and while you're in the house, do what you can do to keep in shape. Summer is around the corner, and we will get through this. And
summer's definitely around the corner, and I've been on my workout. I was in my 11th week, and this coronavirus came, and they shut down my gym yesterday.
Right.
I thought that was some
Planet
BS.
Fitness, LA Fitness, they all getting shut down. Shoot, Crunch Fitness, they all in the process, man. So you better work it out. Prison workouts, I'm telling you, they know best.
So do you think this is going to be a global shutdown as far as, or at least in the United States? Because it's right now is certain states. I
Most
think
definitely.
New York is going that route. San Francisco's going that route.
Most definitely. At least
Georgia,
for
9
days.
o'clock.
30 days at least. It's going to be a 30-day shutdown. That's my belief. I don't want to say it's going to be a martial law situation because I'm still here. Mm-hmm. So, but I think it's going to be curfews in effect. I think that we're going into a position where right now they don't have a cure. And then on top of that, the people that are getting affected are the people, the people that are dying are the people that are older in age, low immune system, and we're talking about people that has respiratory problems. So that's what we're trying to prevent from happening. And if that case is so many people that dies, there's not going to be it's going to hurt the economy, which is going down like constantly.
Rapidly, yeah.
It's
bad.
And just looked at it the other day, it's down 5%, and it's like on average, it's down 5% on every day. So it's going to affect everything, because if there's no people to treat, then there's no medical like that. So if there's people dying left and right, one thing that is I need to invest with is in funerals. So we'll see how that goes.
So you're just going to take advantage of people dying.
You got to take advantage. That's what everyone else is doing, taking advantage of the stock market.
It's sad, though, because every time I think about this situation, I think about the Ebola crisis.
Right.
Obviously, Ebola was really bad in Africa, and people were dying left and right, and they were just basically treating them. I believe it was somebody that went to Africa, and I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I believe he went to Houston. The guy ended up dying, but he passed it on to the nurse. And then 4 people were sent to Atlanta to be treated, or whatever the case may be. They found the cure or a vaccine. Those people didn't die. So because the Obama administration acted right away, they was able to knock that barrier down before it really got bad in the U.S. So this situation is like, it reminds me of that in this aspect, but they thought it was a game. It was a hoax, fake news. It's 15 people today,
right?
0 tomorrow. Now we have over 100 deaths in the United States. Every state has a confirmed case, and we don't even have the proper testing yet. Enough testing out there to test everybody. So we don't even know how many people really truly are infected.
And not to mention, it takes 3 days to get a test back. I mean, on average. So if you're me and you type of person, it takes 3 days before you find anything else. So you have to self-quarantine. The biggest thing is hand sanitizer, wash your hands for 20 seconds, and then going from there. So that's one of the things that we have to have an issue with, is just washing your hands and being clean. Cleanliness is a value. Lysol, whatever we need to do. The major issue that we're having right now is the fact that there is no cure. And how
I
fast
believe it's a
spread.
vaccine that they did recently put
They're
out.
testing something. Right now they're in the process of
they're
testing
asking
it,
anybody
so.
they want a shot. I don't know if I want that first shot.
But they're testing it. So if you want to be a human subject to test it, go right ahead and see what happens. So,
well, hopefully we can correct the situation sooner than later.
Exactly.
Definitely you need to take it serious. I know people compare it to AIDS and they compare it to flu. And I get that comparison. At the same time, you also have to think of it at this perspective. Yes, I believe 16,000 people died of the flu since February. Okay, but now you got another virus. Now you having another virus is even worse than just the flu or even AIDS. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is not to have 1,000 viruses out there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we can probably do better with the flu. A lot of people die of the flu is because they don't go to the hospital quick enough,
and it changes every year. So
yeah, and it changes.
This is just another flu type symptom that you have, because it's very similar to the flu. So it changes every year. So every year there's a different strand. When you get your flu shot, there's like 50 million variations of the flu to prevent that to have an immunity to it. So.
Now HIV is your fault, you decided to go on Raw. Some of you got masses of having sex with people, but you don't put a condom on.
Right.
So who fault is that?
Oh, you got to take that chance sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Russian
roulette.
It feels better.
Let's go with
Let's
that.
go into sports, man. Football season is not here yet, but it was a big trade. Tom Brady, talk about that situation.
There's a lot of things that's going on in the sports world. I mean, we have Dak, who's getting a franchise tag. We have the Browns attacking the area of needs. We have the Patriots without a quarterback, and they have their backup quarterback who they drafted in the 4th round. And then we have our highs and lows of the free agency. One of the other biggest trades is quarterback Nick Foles going to the Bears, right? And then we have people that's re-signing. We got to remember that Nick Foles is one of the few people that beat Tom Brady, and Tom Brady reportedly is going to the Bucs. So, how do we feel about all those that's going down?
$30 million a year. Why do you think the Patriots didn't come back what he wanted?
I think Tom spent his time and gave his life. 20 years is a long time to be at one spot and not to get paid for it. Tom wants the opportunity to win, wants the opportunity to be absolute greatest of all time, and then most of the greatest of all times have gone on to other places and won there. It's kind of like being like LeBron James, if you think about it.
He hops from one team to the next. He wants somebody to play on his team. I need Dwayne Wade. I need Anthony Davis.
It's a different time, a different era. So you got to think about it. It's Boston Celtics started that, right? So one of them.
How did the Boston Celtics start that?
Because you got Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen.
It's not the same.
Come on now.
LeBron James is considered the best player in the league right now, right? That's like Michael Jordan teaming up with somebody, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon in his time.
But you got to think on that last three, you already had Scottie Pippen, one of the greatest defensive players ever.
He was already part of the team.
But you had
you know what?
Dennis
I'm glad
Rodman,
you said that.
right?
I'm glad you said that because when I look at the Golden State Warriors, right, that initial team were all great draft picks. Everybody were role players.
I get you.
It was until Durant came there, it became a super team.
Right.
They was already great. They didn't need Durant. They probably would have won without him, I believe. But he went over there, even though Durant's team, when he was on OKC,
So you
they
don't
was up
consider that
3-1.
teaming up?
Yeah, I do consider. I blame Durant. I don't think Durant gets enough credit for what he did because LeBron did the same thing. Everybody's on LeBron, but I think Durant should be just as responsible for doing it. Yeah, for doing the same thing.
We can say that, but would you credit Durant for being the disbandment of how the Warriors state is right now?
I wouldn't say that because, one, he got hurt. I mean, I felt like they knew he was going into free agency, so in a sense,
they weren't coming back.
Yeah, they kind of knew that. But at the same time, they took him, and they didn't need him. You know, I probably wouldn't have offered him what they got him. Is Durant a great player? Yeah, but I feel like your greatness is limited when you team up with teams that's already great.
But Durant is considered maybe number 2 or one of the top
Why is he
players
maybe,
of that.
though? If he would have stayed on OKC, it wouldn't have been maybe number 2. They could have said he could have been number 1. All he had to do was win.
If you win with OKC, he's definitely number 1.
My
Definitely
point.
number
And they
one.
could have won. That's my whole point.
Yeah, most definitely.
When did LeBron start getting his credit? When he came back to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
And won it.
Exactly.
And won it. So
Now, when he was in the Miami, we knew you were going to win. You with Dwayne Wade. You got this. You got Chris Bosh.
Right.
He went back, so now there's more respect. Now we used to LeBron doing it, so we don't really care anymore. You know what I'm
9
saying?
years straight, though. 9 years straight. So.
Yeah, 9 years straight, but you lose how many times? That don't mean nothing.
Oh, it does mean something.
Making it damn losing don't mean a damn thing.
I mean, I guess, though, but
anyway, my bad. I'm just went straight off the topic.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, we talking about Tom Brady. He's going to Tampa Bay for $30 million. I think this is a little different because I do agree with you. He spent 20 years at one team. He asked for something. I believe they probably should have gave it to him. They decided not to. Now he's going to go down there, even though I feel a little way. You know, I rock with Jameson. I think he's a dope quarterback. I know he turned the ball over a lot, but I felt like he eventually would have got into his groove. But now he's going to go to the bench. 30
interceptions is not acceptable for a starting quarterback. That's just...
Is that one season?
That's one season. 1 season, 30 interceptions. You're the best defensive player of all time. That's Jameson Winston.
But he just got his eyes corrected, so this year could have been different.
You saying he can't see?
He couldn't see. He always be squinting. He was pretty decent.
Right.
So he got his laser surgery. His eyes a little more sharper.
Well, he needs that time to sit on the bench and learn from Tom Brady how to be a winner.
Okay.
That's at the end of the day how it is. One of the other major topics in sports is that DeAndre Hopkins trade. I don't know what what Texans was thinking about. Now Watson doesn't really have a deep threat or a power threat to throw to. But the Cardinals got one of the best receivers of all time currently to have that threat to go with Murray. So I think with that being said, it's just Cardinals trying to be a force to be working with. You got Larry Fitzgerald on the other side and DeAndre Hopkins on one side, and you still got Murray throwing the ball, who is a threat to run the ball and throw the ball. So watch out for them Cardinals. Definitely watch out for them.
Man, 2020 has been a pretty rough year, and I mean pretty raw. 2020 didn't use no Vaseline. They just basically just shoved it in and was like, whatever. A lot of things happened in 2020, but I feel like it will get better. We lost one of the greatest of all times in Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
The coronavirus, obviously. Sports. Not being sports right now. People losing their jobs. Stock market going down. And it's only 3 months in. I think LeBron James said it best. We just need to cancel 2020 altogether. It's the boy Flu season. My guy DJ Delcove in the building. ER Crew, the discussion podcast. Signing all the way off. Appreciate you. Cheers.